Okay.
Tashi dile.
Oh, delay. Anan.
What? Kogi mindu.
Go there. Hello.
Takia bekyo tu kishila sebo kogi mindu.
Ale. Motun de loshi so Wi-Fi to opchas. Ko cover ki unit tura di tes.
Ah, le laso, laso, laso. What is yaru joy sare?
Mustogi kachibu matomido.
Ale, kogi mindu kishila. Sebo kogi mindu. Chiksung
Kena
rana?
inji ke kanchila to kola.
Laso.
Sebuko.
I'm trying to listen to Geshe Lab, but due to the poor Wi-Fi connection, is not very clear. So let's see if it gets a bit better. Geshe Lab explained what happened with the Wi-Fi that is not working. So you're using a
What's
mobile
that?
phone connection.
Yes, exactly. We put on the hotspot,
Yeah.
but it's not as strong, obviously.
How can you hear me? Can you hear me smoothly?
Yes, we can hear you perfectly.
Yeah.
Just not over the speaker
Okay.
because the speaker also doesn't have electricity. That's why I sit next to the
Oh.
laptop.
Okay.
What's Sam? Airtel?
Hmm?
Sam.
Airtel, yes.
This is it. Chikpara. Go there and then go there.
Tanda tes yaru troso Geshe Lab. Ta peche dictoire.
Lasso. You know, what's the dinner? Go to the dog and draw Careo. How much you go? Lasso, Tinita. What didn't go to Shana to Marve? Go there and then.
Tanda kogi tu Geshe Lab. Yema kona ye kira lab yungu.
Oh, lasso. Tinita. Let's see, lots of music. 가다가서 가봤던 노래고 쓰나
먼저 나 돈단된 바죠 살아 아니 군소된 바 베제 고츠야레 아니 봄봉하다 계제 주니 당 감초기 기거린 살아
라서 알아서 단디날 지원디 가자 소야 돈이 바이오체나 돈돈 발라요체나 주루다 접게도 니슈 도소요레세네 티카도 가다 친도에 봐 어디리샤 아니 다 돈담 덴바세 가다가 투티디아 돈담 덴바 돈이 세디아디 지다 낭추니시나 아니 배 개침부시우지 가이스나 가이스나 배디 뭐 하자 참모치 아니 레시 잡거나 시 가보 아니 또야 데스 칼레 가본 두데 얘나야 맞소 아니 나줄레 데스 주링스 롭존 칭게당 아니 나줄로 디칭게 얘나 티칼레 칼레 김체 몽보 삼로당 아니 이종줄레 야보타 드니 체나 포르줄레 코나레 아니 코르차 드니 체나 아니 야니 야도 곰발라 테니 아니 그 상기 고야 상기 주부권이 돕세 가상 디난글라 상기발라 코 배하장 그 개침보 시다 연하면나 주부 차디기 요레스 아인자이나 양다다 코 하장고 참고인데 지 세우시부지 단다 야보지도 참마선데 다든지 기단테 개침보 코든지 저래 샤드니 nga tukkudu dembagani mandre insidering.
So hello everyone, hello Zoomies, and hello people on site. So if you remember yesterday, we were studying about the ultimate truth, and we said that the ultimate truth can be divided into 18, 16, there were different divisions of emptinesses or ultimate truth. And the ultimate truth, understanding the ultimate truth is highly important because even though it's very subtle and it's difficult to have a clear experience or to reach an experience of emptiness, still, if we dedicate time to the study of the Dharma, if we think of many different reasonings, eventually we will come to understand the meaning of what the ultimate truth means and what emptiness is. And then if we gradually meditate and familiarize ourselves with that meaning that we've understood, gradually we will be able to attain what we mentioned yesterday, that were the two results, which were the two bodies of the Buddha, the physical body and the mental body of the Buddha. So I know that understanding the nature of the ultimate truth, understanding the nature of emptiness is difficult because it's a very subtle object, but it will take time until we gain a good understanding of this. So now today we're going to move on and study conventional truth, and the conventional truth begins in page 13.
Dini jerisha, ta dini kuzugu demba seondu, dini ma kuzugu demba ga namsha sheni ruyo di zamba, jidang, ta dondam demba, tongni mayinba ga tongni isena kora chibure, ta te mayinba ga chu kandin riji yona, te tamchilo, ane kuzugu demba re se, ta zugu kuzugu demba se di, tongni mayinba ga, pa pombo laso bi chu karen riji yona, tsangma kuzugu demba se di, ore digi yore se, kuzugu demba se di, ta ale korango,
So in general terms, the conventional truth is everything that's not an ultimate truth. And ultimate truth, when we're talking about an ultimate truth, we're talking only about emptiness. So every time we say ultimate truth is emptiness. So everything that's not emptiness, so everything else, is a conventional truth.
kuzu demba langde chidang kaza tondam demba lang tartu kyubi rishi tsammi nye duen tartu kyuba rishi nye duen laya di tondam dembi tsinshan di dosho la tondam kyuba mayi bache tanya kyuba tanya kyubi rishi nye duen de la kuzu demba ze korang kaptu gishe na dine jilab do shunga la.
So if you remember yesterday, we saw that the definition of the ultimate truth is that mind that analyzes and understands the ultimate reality. So here the definition of a conventional truth would be a mind that analyzes and understands conventional reality.
Tinti kuzub demba ze chidang kuzub seya de chidang kuzub seya ga demba seya kuzub seya de chidang zumba ki tondare zumba ato zumba da demba seya zumba ki tondare kuzub demba seya de chwe karin de jena kora nga tsu na nanshin ga tawani nani tsu la pata wande takara demba mayin ke ga tinti ga ani chuji la kuzub demba se tilab go re tinti kuzub chuji tatanda tagi la na shere ani 다 지금 아주 통보 라서 봐 라서도 다른 가서 미근 통야다 롱 교야다 지 가르쳐야 그치 미근 통체 라서 봐 요체 탐치 그도 된 말이에요.
In general terms, when we talk about the etymology of the word conventional in Tibetan, it has a connotation that the meaning of the word would be false. So something that is not real, something that is false. In relation to ultimate truth would be something that is real. Here, conventional means something that is false, right? So in which way is conventional truth false? In the way that whatever we perceive, whatever cognitive appearance, whatever appears cognitively to our mind, does not coincide with reality. So in that way, that phenomena is false, because what cognitively appears to our mind is not what actually exists in reality. So this applies to all phenomena, like our bodies, our conventional minds, everything we can see, everything we can touch, everything we can hear, everything we can smell. Basically, everything we're in contact with is a conventional truth.
Tēnei kuzu tēmbā sīdō. Tā tēlā tāndā dī lōsami jīgī shūng korona lī chēnā, tēlā yā pā gyebar chēnā, tēlā yāng, yawa gyebar chēnā, zēn, basu bandī, zēpī gā, gāri sē, ābī gōshā tarmā lē, gōshā kā lē sēni, tāndā lōpo yīngi gā dzō gā nā lā, dī kuzu gu chū sō pā dēsēn rā chēnā, yawa rō chēwa yīnā, dēndē pāng dā kē gō rī kī tō, pōmbō kēn chē kham nām yī sē gā, tsikani sondina ta tonda tinal kara sondu zena pombo da kam da kimchi sini desen sum gale yawa che cheni ani kuzo ko yawa pa desen chena yawa do tini che sondus.
So if we look at the text, it says that all extant phenomena which are not emptinesses are known as conventional truth, just like we've said. And when those are classified more elaborately, it is stated in Vasubandhu's Treasury of Knowledge, heaps, doors of birth, and classes are meant by aggregates, sources, and constituents. So here, Vasubandhu is detailing or dividing conventional truths into the 5 aggregates, the 12 sources of experience, and the 18 constituents.
pombo ani kimchi la juni ani kamla jogge so yolas teni pombo inangi tambo sugi pombo la yang pa yo chini tine so shato ale ta tambo ti sama mo tambo pombo o da no le pombo ani kimchi de juni ani kamla jogge seni otini de che sha de pombo la kimchi la juni So
here we see that conventional truth is categorized into these 3, the 5 aggregates, the 12 sources, and the 18 constituents.
Choi pombo dishi pombo nabar shibu pombo zenga yubina tambo sugi pombo la ta ani muwa so se nangi wambo su jenga dang sonsha ani chiyo su dra so su dra choro re jenga dang chus ani nabar jen mayin be su se aji do te da ani su de la ani chochin ani sugi pombo yin se ta so sugi pombo la ndi mi ge tong de ga su kain batela su gi pombo de chen chiganala otini cheni chagdo ngod shadus.
So among these 3 categories, we start with the first one, which are the 5 aggregates. Among the 5 aggregates, the first one is the aggregate of form. And it says this includes the 5 internal sense powers, having form, eye sense power, meaning visual consciousness, like the visual consciousness, auditory consciousness, olfactory consciousness, etc. And the 5 external objects, so the objects perceived by those sensory powers, meaning form, sound, smell, taste, and tangible objects. These 10 with unrevealed forms make up the 11-fold form aggregate.
Oteresha ta ngaso jidang su la ge su se de le yang jidang chi ge mdawa chena ani chi corona la pa chewa ina desenga chi sha gu do migla su la kare resion du mixi ton ya ge su chi che ani na shi ko ya ge tra la so de su che ani na shi ko ya ge tra la so ba che ani chi shi ge ro ani lu la re de ya ge cha ge la so ba de o te mdawa nga chi. So
here, when we look at form, we subdivide form into the 5 senses, but not only the 5 senses, also the objects of the 5 senses. So what are the objects of the five senses? Is that which is seen by the visual consciousness, that which is heard by the auditory consciousness, that which is smelled by the olfactory consciousness, that which is tasted by the taste consciousness, and that which is touched by the touch consciousness.
딘디라고 치, 딘이, 다기디, 슬라나시레, 아니, 양 왕보도 소치, 거수고 나리샤고도, 왕보스, 미크 왕보, 나이 왕보, 제 왕보, 아니, 루지 왕보세, 아니, 응아치샤고, 띠 왕보 응아트 땅, 띵아치네, 다기 응아치, 추치, 띠가나 넘버를 제 많이 배수세야지, 도세, 넘버를 제 많이 배수세야 돼, 땅압수 갑투 딘디, 따나미고 통야 많이 받지, 아니, 땅압수 딘디, 중국나는 남비, 제나 가르쳐 나가서, 게출다 게롱세 돈바 두야면데 돈바 어디 돈바 대양 수진 딘디지 인라고 어디라 넘버 리치 많이 배수라고도 어디 수디 양 대신 뭐라고 치르샤 디지 원데 수들라 파치나 수지 폼볼라 치나 대신 지나면도 뭐라고 주치든도
So here we have the five objects of the senses and the five senses, right? So in total these make 10. And apart from these, then it says that we have unrevealed forms. So forms that are very subtle and that cannot be seen. And the example posited for unrevealed forms is the vows are normally taken by Getsuls and Gelongs. So ordained people, they take vows. And they say that these vows are actually a subtle form. So even though they're not visible, it's still form. It's a subtle form. So in total, these would make 11 types of form.
딱이 폼봉가가 나네 수기 폼보도 되게 딘디지레샤 다 그런 기용그 전에 수기 폼보세나 딘디로 지레샤 니빠데 가리나 소리 폼보 소와 마도 소리 폼보라지 소리 폼보 다 용다가 폼보 소와들 소리 폼보라 파치나 파 예와치나 숨미어레스 소와 대와당 소와 둥와당 아니 소와들 타뇽 아자게 대와에 많이 니 둥아야 많이 게 퍼마들 아니 소와 타뇽세 딘디지게 소와 폼보들라 아니 니바들 폼봉가 나니 니바들 초이 폼보제 초이 폼보라 코라 파치나 아니 땅가서 용탈리 톤 뇨데야게 초 대와지다 둥어지다 데티마이게 초 파르마치 뇨데게 어티숨 초숨두스
So that completes the aggregate of form. Let's go to the second aggregate, which is the aggregate of feelings. So feelings are of three types. The feeling of pleasure, pain, and neutrality are the aggregates of feelings. So whenever we have a feeling, it necessarily falls down into one of these three categories. We either feel pleasure, we either feel pain, or we just feel neutral.
데레샤 다 좋아도 남지 용다가 좋아도 데레샤 데니 초이 폼보 데니 숨바든 디시 폼보라도 숨바들은 디시지 폼보 디시 디리 마레제 쳔버 잠바 디시 쳔버 잠바디 딱 쳔마서 어디니 디시 쳔버 잠바시도 어디 쳔마 디 폼보텔라 양 가르두세나 또지긴 디시 폼보다 또메긴 디시 제야가 니 디다레레라야 다 파치바이나 아니 중우다 야친보다 쳔메바제 데니 야치 파파파 체나 숨숨 제야도데 간다 디시제디 semba toji dishida tomeg dishi sin dishitla madawa nidus.
So let's go to the third aggregate. The third aggregate is called here in the text discriminations. I don't like this word because I don't think it conveys the meaning of the term in Tibetan. I like the word discernment because it talks about the ability to discern between things. So you discern this from this is this and this is that, right? Whereas discrimination in English has this connotation of exclusion. I discriminate against someone. It has this connotation of exclusion. So I like the word discernment. So I'm going to use that word. So discernment is a conceptual and non-conceptual. Discernments are the two components of the discernment aggregate, each of which has three divisions: small, extensive, and immeasurable. And let's go to the first part. It says that our capacity to discern among things can be a conceptual capacity to discern or a non-conceptual capacity to discern.
데리샤더니 다 폼보 숨바티지 시바디 눕지게 폼보라자 단단데가서 아니 보이긴 나는 두시당 눕지 니 잡아레션 눕지게 폼보 눕지게 폼보 세야들에 몽부시부지도 눕지게 폼보 세야들라 단다 초아당 두시디니가 아주 샘정이가 아니 샘정을 기타 몽부시우지요래 다도 그 젤젤 아니 디창도 지잖아 그것도 신기요지래 맨나야 아니 주마 딜라운데 샘정을 대체 몽부지가 아니 초아당 디시스티 니드 파피니 디 마인비가 샘정 창마 요체 창마당 디 마인비 아니 단딜라 손대 마인비 듣지세 손대 마인비 듣지세 온디 다 지코 데보르지 람나 가르레시디 시바 마인케가 시바 마인케 수 마인케가 디보르라 아니 옹보 몽보지요레 두제 폼보제디 어디 참말로 가르에서는 두제지 폼보레시 어디 손샤도스
Let's go to the fourth aggregate, compositional factors. And within the category of compositional factors, many different things are included. So I don't know if the text will speak specifically about mind and mental factors, but all mental factors apart from feeling and discernment, the second and the third aggregate are mental factors. So feeling and discernment are specified here among the 5 aggregates, and the rest of the mental factors not mentioned here are included within the category of compositional factors. So everything that's not consciousness and not a consciousness, not form, is included within compositional factors. So this category includes many different things.
어디르자 다 폼봉가나니 타마디 nga바디 남시지 폼보라야데 남시지 폼보세야들라 nga요레 nga 미기 나버시바 아니 나이 나버시바 치 나버시바 루지 나버시바 티간에 아니 남시 투요레 티간에 이기 나버시바디 투 어텐도지 티투들라 갈라 그래서나 아니 남시지 폼보라야데 어떤 남지게 시발라 샘당 샘종제 개발니 제요레 되는 그 샘 탐지 샘세야데 강인바 탐지 남치지 봄보레스.
So let's read what the text says about compositional factors. It says that the aggregate of compositional factors includes both the collection of concomitant compositional factors, which include all the remaining secondary mental factors except feelings and discernment, and the collection of the non-concomitant compositional factors, which are neither form nor consciousness. Then the 5th aggregate, consciousness, says, the aggregate of consciousness has 6 components, from the I consciousness to the mental consciousness. So here, consciousness is referring to what we called a main mind, right? Consciousness can be divided into 2. Consciousness can be divided into a main mind or a primary mind, sometimes translated as primary mind, and mental factors, which we saw that are the mental factors are included within compositional factors. And here consciousness includes 6 consciousnesses. So 5 sensory consciousnesses and 1 mental consciousness, into a total of 6. So these are main minds.
어떤데지르자 다티 지원도 단다 폼봉가 컴 김치 중니 컴쪽게랍데 나가 폼봉가 남샤 폼봉가 센다 저리 원진 지나 폼봉가 생기도 어떤데로 지레서 수기 폼보 소위 폼보 디시 폼보 디제지 폼보 나버시비 폼보 시디다 폼봉가 시디 그저고 추라 자비니 다 디중나 마이와도 치디 이와티니 치니 손샤스.
So among the 3 categories among which conventional reality is categorized, we've already seen the first one, which are the 5 aggregates. So the 5 aggregates are the aggregate of form, the aggregate of feeling, the aggregate of discernment, the aggregate of compositional factors, and the aggregate of consciousness. So these 5 make the 5 aggregates.
다나 니바디는 만도나 니바디 김치 중니 들으셔 김치 중니 라 아니 난기 김치 죽당 치 김치 죽제네 중니래셔 난기 김치 죽치 김치 죽제 중니래셔 난기 김치 죽대 미가 원보 나 원보 치 원보 리죠 원보 이게 원보 어디 죽대라 난기 원보 치 난기 디 원보 죽대라 가르잖아 난기 김치 죽제 되네 치 김치 죽대 수다트 로르자 아니 취지 김치 가수 취지 김치 제가 지도 뒤죽들라 가르잖아 취지 김치 죽제네 죽니데 죽니 어디 김치 죽니데 어디를 샤스.
So now we're going to go to the 12 sources, and I'll just add something, which is that conventional truth has different ways of being categorized. So we can categorize it into the 5 aggregates, or into the 12 sources, or into the 18 constituents. But they all include, we will see that they all include each other. It's just different ways of categorizing conventional reality. So here we see that in the 12 sources, they are divided into the 6 internal sources, and here sources is a source of experience. So this is the source of our experience, and there are 6 internal sources of experience and 6 external causes of experience. The 6 internal sources of experience are the eye sense power, the ear sense power, the nose sense power, the tongue sense power, and the body sense power. Sorry, the body sense power and the mind sense power. So these are our internal sources of experience. The 6 external sources of experience are form, sound, smell, taste, tangible objects, and mental phenomena. So basically, the 6 objects of the 6 sense powers.
Terecha, tene, Miki Wambodan, Miki Kimchi Nisiadini, Chikba 20 days. Tanya Ming Mata Tare Madu Miki Wamboda Miki Kimchi 20 days. Tenashi Suki Pombotan, Ozunia 20 days. Tenashi Ania, Ozuki Kimchetan, Zuzia Jido, Tini 20 mares. Ozuki Kimche Lambda Kare, Zuki Kimche Light, the Yamato Kimchi, Kanata, Zuki Kimchi Seatilla. Mishi toy Koran, Mishi toy to Chambala Coco Duce. Taking also Langola and Josugla, Mishi toy Sujidan, Amcho Square Dado down, and in Nashi Guatrindo, Lohamobuchi Yodi, Tinani, Osuki Kimche Labdi, Mishi Korang toya Konadilla, Osuki Kimche Labudus.
Then it says the eye sense power and the eye source of experience are synonyms. So whenever we talk about a source of experience or a sense power, we're talking about synonyms. The form aggregate and form are synonyms. So here we talk about form before we talked about the form aggregate, they're synonyms. So this is why we mentioned previously that we'll see overlapping among these categories. There's just different ways of categorizing conventional reality. So form aggregate and form are synonyms, yet form source and form are not the same. So the form source of experience and form are not the same. For a form source of experience is only an object of the eye consciousness, such as color and shape. So when we talk about the form source of experience, we're talking about everything that is perceived with our eye consciousness, and what we perceive with our visual conscious with a visual consciousness, or with our visual sense power, is only shape and form. So when we hear within the 12 source of experience, we talk about the form source of experience, we're talking about color and form, which is the object of the visual sense power.
Danda dinama ani suki kimchini mishi sonja kona te kato da yirtawa yinse jade jadan jai kimchi se te chigre chibare ani nashi ki nyenja de jai dondare da de sum te chigre sa yin las de shinde ta kariyor de tredan roda recha yang dra se cha odi chi chinangi yani kimchi ta wonbon tang kimchi tangbo ngani kimchi ka su chemba yin la yin song sha ani sem ye namshi sum tuen chi yin tuen chi be se migi number shiba so su sem kan yi tamche yi ki kimchi yin se o nam kha ta toni la so ba dima chi chunam chi kimchi yin se o de re sha da de song di kar sung do se na tonda do kar se na miki 다게 수기 김치 미시 손자 텔라이나 다 가르티 코랑 가르치데 카토다 입스나 하고다 카토스 미게 토야 쳔 마보다 까불라서 버치 입시디 트비시다 거골라서 버디네 입체 어두서데 미시 토야 되치 아니 드라시 암촌나 거야 참마들 드라이 김치 라우리 드라리 디 드라시디 게 나시 닌자 암촌나 거야 녀야게 아니 오디 코디야게 디 텔라 가르치게스나 아니 드라시게레스 아니 저세야데 아니 지바 나시 놈자 나시 아니 놈니 거자에 취들라 딜가지 나시 놈자 디나시르야 치바레스 아니 제시 녀자 당 리자야 아니 루시지 녀자 데리자 어디서 치바레 저 잡으레 저 어디 손샤
Then it mentions that sound and sound source of experience and object of ear consciousness are all synonyms, and the same is true of smell, taste, and tangible objects. So it's Tibetan. In Tibetan, it's written in a detailed form, and it says that the same similarly, just as sound and the sound source of experience and the object of the ear consciousness are all synonyms, then that is true of smell. So smell, the smell source of experience and object of smell consciousness are synonyms. Taste and taste source of experience and object of taste consciousness are all synonyms. And then tangible object source of experience, or touch source of experience, and touch consciousness are all synonyms.
데리샤 드니다 다치 지나게 김치 담봉아 수기 김치레 드니 오글마 아니 셈당 이다 남시 세야데 남비존알 탄님로 드니 다디아 두스 된치그레샤 셈다 인다 남시 좀 된치 인베 손샤 미기 넘버 시바 소 투셈 가인바 다기 셈다 셈조니나 투셈세 셈 가인바 탐체 아니 이기 김치 세야데 이기 김치 인 손샤 되니 다 이기 김치 마인베 남카당 아니 똥니 라서보다 그거는 돈도 대박 나 똥니 손대가 남카다 똥니 라서보다 가르레세 온데 디마치
cuando
진짜 예수
ti parula che son nga semta yinda namshe dönchik resha nye ko son shemba kuma son.
알레 다고데 다티버려 그래
Ti parula chagya des durujo son ina
자제
tande
들은 거 있으나
yar.
기타 와이프는 투여에서 도 로레선데나 단데 삼삼 콜라 먹을 어디래서 셈다 있다 남시 숨 된치래서 셈 남시 된치 인다 아니 미키 나버시 발아서 버 죽도 하다기 남시 죽갈로 참말로 가르세나 이기 김치래서 이기 김치세야 돼 어디 이기 김치래서 때 마이비 아니 이기 김치 마이비 다단다 남카당 돈이 라서반 디마치 추남 아니 추기 김치 취김치래서 어디 취김치도 이기 김치니 잡을 어디지니 샤샤
Awesome. So here we saw the 6 sources of experience, right? Normally we say that mind and consciousness and cognition, these 3, mind, consciousness, cognition, they are synonyms. Okay? So when we talk about, for example, a visual consciousness is necessarily a source of mental experience. It's a source of a mental experience, because consciousness and mind and cognition are synonyms. So that which is a source of experience of a consciousness is necessarily a source of experience of also a mind.
라서 고대
거기 또 계실라단다 남카다 안토니 이기 겐체제 이나야 미기 셰바 디 양 이기 겐체제 수임베 녀세 보고 투마서
만 남카다 돈이서 취기 김치래 이기 김치 말이지 이기 김치 세야 되라 딱이 아니 미게 넘버 10서 남시 죽지 마도 요 말레스 이기 김치라
최기 겐체
취기 김치 세야지도 어때라 아니 남카다 돈이 도서 이기 남시 그 파도야 취 어떠서 이기 김치 세그레스
So whereas the sense consciousness are mental sources of experience, the space, and for example space and emptiness, they are considered only phenomenon sources of experience. So phenomenon sources of experience.
어디래셔 다들이 감쪽게 세야들이 감쪽게 세야다 다다기 김치당 또저 봉봉하나래 추담진디로 열라 아니 갈수요 김치 중이나래 추담진디로 직발에 단다데 감적게시디 양망 미모다다니 미모다다니 그 셰샤레 모두 양디나 따기 랍데도 마다마다 챵버셔요 마리 직발에 이나야 디나니 감적게데 가르세네 아니 감적게네 미 소고데 땡원부이 감투세다 Miki number shiba so true la temper namshi come true say da ani da sugda so ni mikpa yi come true say come chop ge yore se odila ming mata ta ni o de sum de desen chen to some chop ge chen chebares.
So now we're going to continue to the 18 constituents, and like we've said before, what is going to detail here within the 18 constituents are already included within the 5 aggregates and already included within the 12 sources of experience. It's just different ways of categorizing, and the 18 constituents is just a more extensive way of categorizing conventional truth. So here it'll just say what it has said before. So there are 6 constituents of sense powers, which are supportive I, which are supportive. Okay. Oh, let me just read that again. There are 6 constituents of sense power, which are supportive, 6 constituents of consciousness, which are dependent, like the I consciousness, etc., and 6 constituents of observable objects, such as form, sound, etc.
어때레시 다긴 디나마티 로사미젠도 어때나 dorna dipchi tamche 봉봉아 이나 두스
I think they froze.
추 tamche 아니 김치 중이나 두시 감 쪽게 지난도 양 두위세 네 데니지 추 tamche 김치 중이다 감 쪽게가 나든 두스 감지 요알 파 제버치나 단마테 로샤나 두치레니 소 요셈 dorna 때다게 어디버도 요세 어디버도 치거나
Geshe-la, kogi mindu.
자기 너는 딥지 취 탐체로는 봉봉하게나 누구래 봉봉하게나 되든 딥지 취 탐체도 누구래 스코데
I think that he can't hear.
어
Oh, here they. Today's participants. Geshe-la, kogi 돼.
Can you hear us?
Very, not very well. Can you speak? Let's see.
Hello, Anna, can you hear us?
I can hear you, but it kind of goes on and off. It cuts in the middle.
Yeah, it
But
just
like
says the connection is unstable and the electricity is gone again, so I don't really know what to do. Maybe we end the
Okay, we can
session
try.
and continue Friday.
Well, it went better again. Maybe Geshe-la can try once more, and if it doesn't work, then we can just continue on Friday. Geshe-la, yangir tanda pette jiaru joyo sare yangir ngazo tabsi chena ane lega machina ngazo ta sta pasa ngazo yangir sona dir. 직사를
dorna 아니 뒤지 취다 니마지 취세 아니가 뒤지 취 탐체도 봉봉하게나 되다 아니 시제 탐체 아니 김치 중이 나다 감 접제가 나리 시제 탐체 누구래 제 손샤스
할래 이나 양계실라 담보 내 순거랭에 가게 꼬마서
알em 이게 dor나래데
자마 꼬네
로솔로솔 딱 지나 딱이 폼보다 감다 김치 제가 좀 숨체인바
나
알로 어디
헬로
고무도
고성
안에 폼보다 감다 김치 제가 아니 참마 여체데 아니 디나래 폼보가 뒤지 탐친 뒤지다 니마치 주니도 디는 뒤지 탐체로 아니 폼보가 날 두그레스 아니 추 탐치 시제 추 탐치 아니 김치 중이다 감 접기가 난 두그레스 손샤스 다양 놀래서 얻으면
나스 That's it. So let's continue after the first paragraph, which comes after the 18 constituents, and it says, in short, all composite phenomena are included in the 5 aggregates. So everything that is a composite phenomena, conditioned phenomena, it's a synonym, is included within the 5 aggregates. All objects of knowledge are included in the 12 sources, as well as in the 18 constituents. So everything which is a composite phenomena, meaning an impermanent phenomena, is included within the 8 aggregates, whereas everything that can be known is included within the 12 sources and within the 12 constituents.
Hello?
Oh, 거기도.
Dini kamdele ya pa yewa chena da yeba chena ani kamdele chukchi tsani chukchi reni da ani so yo kyang si mabu che yo re si ani dorna deta ki ngowo se kamda kimchi da tuso ngowo da yang tuso lega cheli kare kare chigiri ani tuso la yewa kache kache yo re ani yang tuso la pangcha imba da pangcha ma imbi chapar ani nam se ani shibar che gubi tuto ka tsama shin gugu du ani shi gugu yo tang te tabi kui che yung upu tiklam kibar che ni ani langtur che ni ani nam shibar che te se dunga tam che li tanda trawe tharpi dewa thobar che go song sha ta dina ma song di ta nga su tinal tagi pompo nga tang ka kimchi chuni tang ani kam chobge la soba mambu ji she Tinaliya tanda yang kashi ani ju pangja da kashi pangja mayin ba tang yang tu sola je yewa re 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 pa geber china ka te changma de ani pa geber chini ani shi gu du ti shi ba ina kari yore sene tini ani pangja ri pa pang ni me ba so ani lanja so leng go ba su nyamlen che tini che ba ina ani tharba to gure si o ti che te sonda tu shi gu du
Then it continues saying, if the constituents are further divided into detailed categories, there are 62. So we could even categorize the conventional reality into 62. We should at least know the difference in their nature, function, and classification, and whether they are to be abandoned or not. Thereby, we will come to master the 6 objects of knowledge, knowing which points are to be cultivated and which abandoned. In this way, we will attain the bliss of liberation, forever freed from all suffering. So here His Holiness is explaining why it is important to know these classifications of the 5 aggregates, the 12 sources of experience, and the 18 constituents. He's saying that we should know the nature of each of these aggregates, sources, and constituents, their functions, and more importantly, whether these have to be either abandoned or they have to be practiced, because some of these have to be abandoned. Some of these have to be taken up, practiced. And if we do so if we understand what are each of these 5, 12, and 18 aggregate sources and constituents, and we understand which have to be abandoned and not, then we will know what to practice. We will know what we have to give up, what we have to reduce, what we have to practice more, what we have to develop. And the result of perfecting that practice is to attain liberation.
tindi jere sha ti je onde tati kap tu tanda din ala ma chena tsawi gi chikutu den ba ngonjin ro kunzu den bi ngonjin ro de tindi ro ji chini sha ne ani ta sabje ni ba de sumba di kan ro di ani deno sumde du kan ro do tiri sha se
So here it has explained in this part that we have just seen, it has explained briefly what the nature of conventional truth is. We can subsume or categorize all of conventional reality within these 5 aggregates, 12 sources and 18 constituents. And once this is finished, then the next chapter we will go into the 3 baskets.
tere ta ma sun number sanji bi tanda ani 지금 mambuchide tanda kuzo ko namja changba cheni kan ro go yore karisena chi le jumje kewa ngapchu ti la so ba chi oni 다 답단 지금 뭐부지도 답신이 나니 아니 냠린 지역 람 답신이 나니 야 망치월로 아니 탑기차 참마 구두기차 장보마도 요 말이 도 참마 아니 구두 dem비게 남자 디셰비가 아니 파시네 어떤 딘디게 남자 뭐부지시야 두스
And as you'll see, as we go along, as we continue studying, most of what we're going to study belongs to the presentation of the conventional truth, belongs to the conventional truth, because we have to learn the law of cause and effect, the existence of reincarnation, past and previous lives, and whatever we practice within the path, which is the path is composed of these two, right, of method and wisdom. Most of it belongs to the conventional truth. So that's why understanding conventional truth is so important, because it's very important for our practice.
들으셨더니 양 아주 나 개침부 시우지디 다 가르치나 디코도 그나 시비가도 레 김제가 남샤세 주도 레 김제 아니 규가르 가르치나 지부 가르가르 두그레 어디 레 김제 시게데 따다 간디지 요레세 어디 수가 남샤 시고야 돼 아니 백개 첨부 차기도
And among everything that we will learn from the conventional reality, one of the most important things is the law of causality. Understanding the law of causality, understanding that from a specific cause, a specific result will arise. So it's very important that we understand this within conventional reality.
대단 딘디인데 아니 주 개와 줍제 삼보 레 삼보 싸나 아니 텔 주부 아니 대원 중고 요바이 바당 아니 주 아니 먹게 와단 레다 뉴모 비와도 소니 아니 주 두어 텐데 주바이나 텔 텐데 마음발 소소를 둥어 쳔보 용고 요바 또소 남샤데 야보지 딸레 김드가 남샤 시네 텐데 바 타고 야보시 tum그레스
And from this presentation of the law of causality, we will come to understand that happiness is the result of virtuous actions. So that virtue and virtuous actions are the cause, therefore, of happiness. And that non-virtuous actions, actions motivated by afflictions, what we call negative karma, is the result of unhappiness. So by understanding conventional reality, specifically the law of causality, we will come to understand the causal relationship between our experience of happiness and suffering and the actions that we do.
딘디르샤 따티치온데 아니 따투소 남샤 모부지도 데티고 까나마 아니 르비치니 드루도 다 까마 추즈 마도무도 티나레 투어틀레 요나 투어요나 투어지타나 나니 와서 데인데
That's all. So now we're going to give way to the questions. So if you here online or there on site have some questions, we have 10 minutes to answer some questions.
Like today, I don't even know where to start with the questions because we just went through all the lists and I have questions for like every point of every list. So I don't even know where to start.
I can't hear you. Hello, hello.
Hello,
Sorry.
Can you hear us?
Now I can hear you. Can you ask your question again?
I said I don't know where to start with the questions because with all the lists, I have a question to every point. He went so quickly to the list that I don't have the feeling I got much today. Like my request would be to go more intensely through the list and explain the things because now it was mainly lists for me.
Geshe-la dandang karichik shuya khabores kayinsena ngarangla des gyodrason ani kirandana mingi namda mare kirandana yewa mambo sungra ine nye ngala khare pensare lavna ani denzo re deshe kyabtumna ani ngala pensare kayinsena danda nga tiwa taya khabores ye ta shera gochu mason kayinsena gyodrasons
야 티치다 산이나니 들어 소리 가서 딱이다기 저야 또서 레레레레 리시 mam부제니 펜도 영사리 양디 오니마 파는지니 드나 탄두 펜도 차이나 딱이다기 제나 아니 데레레레 리시 자야 테스탑데 보레 용거레스
So since we can see how it goes on Friday, If we see that is of more benefit to explain this in more detail, then we can go in more detail into this. But if we see that this topic is not so important and the future topics are more important, then we can go to future topics. So we can see that on Friday.
Right.
아니, 어딘지 로르셨다. 티니 믹스가 처음에는 단다 까망가 디순도 어디 가르시디 단다 가서 아니 단다 레 김지가 남샤를 마시오니 티니 주가리체나 주가리 주그레세 어디 단다 가서 낭비 추나르시나 아니 단다 페나 아니 짐바 당나 롱춘 중그레라야 당 아니 소바 겁나 가르치그레세레 당다 덴박 승제보 티니 닝제보 야고 치그레세야로 당 아니 tindi laso be namsha to mobuji so yore to so country re do yabo ji chetumna ani juma so ti ani nyamlen da lalen le tayala jugal pento yabo yongres.
So we still have 5 minutes, and if there are no more questions, I would just like to add that when we study the law of causality, we can see the relationship between, for example, the practice of generosity and the practice of patience with certain results. Like it is said that the result of practicing generosity is wealth, and the result of practice patience is beauty, that we will attain a beautiful body, a beautiful appearance.
ani soba gomya samla ani karchi control ana control me de control sawo control mo lang de jena ani juma ani kewa chimala keondi ani tongen ba tindi tindi ke ru yore se odi ko ani doshot che sonda ani tagi soba gomna mani ni je bodini ke yobala je tele de soba magumne control mo bosana ani ta control sa di dang atso tanda mi kita na yabo kewa chena ha gore mi do yabo ji da mi number tu da mi yabo ji yona ya control la on to dongba chama ani kar namjur du kya ani patana yam ju me ba ani charu ti mao ba te ma se mao ba kewa chimale ani donge ba mi suitana maga sa di kigres.
However, if we practice the opposite of patience, which is anger, then the opposite result will come about. Like, therefore, the result of anger is to have an ugly appearance. Ugliness is the result of anger. And this is something that we can actually see in this very life, because one human being, one person, even if that person is very beautiful, even if that person is very attractive, if they get angry, they are unappealing for other people. They're not comfortable to see. We don't like to see someone who is angry, so they become ugly or they become unappealing, unattractive when they are angry. Whereas when someone is practicing patience, when someone is calm, when someone has a good heart, then the opposite is true.
어딘데 샤티 김제 남샤 레 김제 에샤 또 남비 이종고 다니 나는 레 김제세 레샤도 코 언야 규지가 민 다니 레다 레 김제세디 어디 하장 그 뜻고 남샤 테스 야보 하거나 아니 펜도 첨부 요게요레세 펜 규세야디 어디 드블라야디 규단 림tum바도 제니 끼기레 마도 페디 림문tum바 도서드니 끼고 말레스 티앙 가상 가망아서 랍디아가 녜랭기 규 또 녜랭기 규들레라 마도 야 규 탐지양 주고다 사마자가 말레스.
So it's very beneficial to understand the law of causality, and we will understand that for a specific result to happen, a specific cause has to be there in the first place. So there is always the cause and the result always have to be concordant. They cannot be discordant. Like if you remember in the first chapter, we made a distinction between substantial causes and cooperative conditions. So not all causes are the same. Some are substantial, some are cooperative.
pe halia ke chembu tia pe ke chembu chi cha de go re se le gimre di gang de le gimre le phan chu ne ke wang ap chi de ga de sta chimbu ba kha da chu ji go bi gim se ka dun ro de ke wang ap chi se de pe ke chembu yi ba da ji dang chu la de ji wang de ni ki wan di tsam tsam ma yi ba chen di de ki tsam da san ni na ni nga de wu chi bu yong we yin cha de tsam ma yi ba chi ni ki wa chi ma na pe ya ge thap shi le ro go di tsam ba ni ki wa chi ma so ya Kyo ngapchiya ke chenpo chagayo badang, dini le gyumdre siyade ke chenpo chagayo badang, o tuso tandandi kasa nambi chugu nani ma shena pe tawa ke chenpo na chenpo resi.
Therefore, among everything we can understand within conventional reality, one of the most important things is the law of causality. But also, like we saw in the first chapter, also the establishment of the existence of past and future lives. This is also very important, since the practice of the Dharma is not exclusively focused in the benefit of this life, but also in the benefits of future lives. And for that, we have to previously establish the existence of past and future lives, like we saw in the first chapter.
O tindresya, tati hindi, o tuso kwa nga so kale, tanda di kar tuso yona ani nga so lupjong kale chini dito na mato. Ani chitang chani ani tab dewa chik lela ujita haku mudu de ina nga so di kala muntuni di kala tuso kechia so kala kale tusi jani dro tuya girewa jawi yos.
So I hope that we can continue our study of these topics and that slowly we will reach a better understanding. I know that attaining a precise, complete understanding of everything at the beginning is not easy. So I hope that we can continue studying and uncover at least the most important topics.
Tiresha, tijide tajidang, yanjo kechia shikar dusena, tanda di pongkam kimchi ganal ma yawa mambu chiang jindana churuk kapsu. So sujenga ani ngubu yawa tepe mambu ji chesha ze tanda di nal yorita. Yina ya nang sem shiba da tuso ga namsha de tanda di tuso gani gebuchi mudu de di peti nang bi chue chia la inchi michi tuso peke chimbu chagu du di indi rambani basena mudu tindi chi kaala kargu du sena ani shiba kala shibi kola sem jong de la yang dhamma mambu chi yoba tuso chama lo kale tes ngondi che tuna tuso chishi tuna pento chimbu yung resi.
And something else I would like to emphasize among the three different categories of conventional truth that we saw today, the 5 aggregates, the 12 sources, and the 18 constituents, is that among these, one of the most important things, apart from the law of causality, is the understanding of consciousness. So here it wasn't explained in detail at all, but understanding consciousness, understanding the division of consciousness in minds, and mental factors is very important. Understanding the mental factors, there are 52 mental factors. So understanding these 52 mental factors, which are of very different types, some are positive, some are negative, is very important. So this part of the Buddhist teachings is very important, the psychological part, which is understanding the consciousness.
Teni ta tiri che tiso ga teni re cha sani nga su de nzira dige judu yin samat te pebala ga su da tuji che shu yos.
That's so. So now we're going to conclude our today's lesson here. And I want to thank all of you that have come here today to class. Thank you very much. And we'll see each other on Friday. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
That's all.